Dean Rusk disagrees with you, and he was the Secretary of State at the time, but that's fine.
The communist nations have exploited the turmoil of a time of transition in an effort to extend communist control into other areas of the world.
Thoughts on Dean Rusk and America's involvement in Vietnam? I know next to nothing about that.
Exactly. Was caught lying. You know, we're all fascinated with con artists and lowlives, blackmailers, thieves. Sometimes we just want to know, like, why do people do certain things? But for a background on this story, it starts with January 6th. Other than the riot that got out of hand, as opposed to the BLM riots, which burnt cities to the ground, and which the Democrats based entire campaigns off of, and throwing people into jail without lawyers, grandmothers who wandered into the building, people who were within 500 feet of the building, whose cell phones were off and they were being pinged. So, but on that day, there were two bomb threats. One of them was outside of the Democrat National Convention, and one was outside, I believe, the Republican National Convention. Somewhere prominent in D.C., there were these two pipe bombs that were found. The pipe bomb story in itself is very strange. They've been linked to a former individual from the Air Force. It's just a very strange story. The FBI seems to be able to get everybody's phone number from January 6th except for this one individual. It's a very strange story, but added on top of that, lefty Twitter decided that they were going to start saying that HTG, a Republican representative, Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, was actually the bomber. So you'll see pictures of her holding a bag, and there'll be another picture of the pipe bomber, that the few grainy footages that the FBI has not scrubbed from its archives. Like, oh look, it's the same person. I think it's funny. I'm not offended in any way. It kind of goes along with the other video I did on making up that somebody has syphilis and somehow this is going to win campaigns. I don't care. It's just funny that it's coming from the same people who use their allies at Snopes and fact-check parody stories that are obviously jokes. Well, actually, that's not really what happened. You think the joke wasn't a description of an actual event? So as this is going on Twitter, my good friend HeathWatchman decides to take it a step further. Now, Heath doesn't really read, like, in general. Like, I'm surprised that he can read a menu or actually even communicate on Twitter, it's always very strange. He usually has a lot of these strange things in his font type. There's a lot of exclamation points and then changing of fonts, I guess to attract the eye. He spends a lot of time getting a lot of followers on Twitter, but he doesn't actually read, and you can tell he doesn't read because he'll quote New York Slime's articles, the Holocaust Denying New York Times, and they're behind a paywall, so there's no way that he could have read them. And then even when he quotes articles that he has read or that are not behind a paywall, you can tell he hasn't read them because when you quote it to him, he has no idea what the fuck they even are in the article. Nor does he have the ability to grasp what's in there. Like, he doesn't understand context. He doesn't understand line by omission. If he were just as objective as anything that came out of Fox News, saying that were false and not to be believed, as he is with other items of news, he might actually do very well. But his latest obsession was to tweet the covers of Malcolm Nance's books on Twitter. Malcolm Nance is a former counterterrorism expert, and his latest books were all against the former president. So he would just tweet a picture of it, as if like, aha, there's my entire argument. Of course, he hasn't read any of it. Now, I've read Weissman's last book. I'll read books like that, but this person hasn't read them. So now he's newly obsessed with Malcolm Nance. So he decides to quote and say, Malcolm Nance has said that, speculated that Marjorie Taylor Greene might actually be the D.C. bomber. Now, and of course, Malcolm Nance replies with, well, no, I don't actually think it's... And I knew that Malcolm Nance never said this because I looked, and he's never mentioned it before. So he lied And when he was busted about lying, he said, well, it's not important because Nance said that Marjorie Taylor Greene broke her oath to the Constitution. No, Heath, that's not the bigger picture, as you called it. You lied. You made something up. You didn't get like a date wrong, or you didn't understand a news event. You just made it up. Based on nothing. But the bigger question is, if you're going to lie, and if you're going to make up a quote about somebody, why would you tag them? Did you tag him? No, yeah, he tagged him. Look, it's right there. At Malcolm Nance. That's Malcolm Nance's Twitter handle. Why would you do that? If you're going to tell an obvious lie and say that somebody said something that they didn't say, why would you? I would just not tag them. This way they wouldn't see it. And then anybody who called you a liar, Malcolm Nance isn't very likely to jump into the thread and go, that's actually not true. But you tagged him in it. So of course Malcolm Nance came by into the thread and said, I don't think that's accurate. Because he's never said that. You just made it up. You just made it up. That is a very stupid thing to do. But it's what can be expected from somebody who claims that they're some kind of ambassador to Antifa from some foreign country. You can't expect much out of these people. Why would you do that? Why would you knowingly lie and then tag him in it? He's gonna tell you I never said that. It's quite possible that Heath thinks that it's a very odd way of looking at politics. He thinks that this is some kind of sport where we all get together with people that we like. We all high-five each other and go like, hey, I like you and I agree with you and you're my new friend. As opposed to discussing ideas and subject matter. That's beyond him. So I guess in his head, he knows that we're all lying about Marjorie Taylor Greene, funny or not. And if I just make this quote up, Malcolm Nance, who also agrees with me politically, who's written books against the former president, is going to jump in on me with this lie. And I can openly tag him and say, he said something that he didn't say, and Nance will go like, yeah, sure, I'm a counterterrorism expert, and I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene is the DC pipe bomber. Why would you be so stupid as to think someone is going to jump in on you with a lie that you attributed to them? It's already dumb enough to do the whole Marjorie Taylor Greene is the DC pipe bomber. That's stupid enough. But you had to go the extra mile and misquote somebody and then stupidly tag them in it. You are one dumb motherfucker. You are one stupid, useless jackass. You really are stupid. Ah, God, I love this kid. It's unreal how stupid these fucking people are. Why would you do that? Why would you tag him? What did you think was gonna happen?